Hello and welcome to another knitting pod. I am Lena and I'm so glad you're here. I hope you are up for chatting about fiber and some fun patterns and life in general. If you are a returning viewer, I'm so glad you came back. If you're new, I hope you enjoy this episode. If you do follow me, then you know I've been having some major technical difficulties. I have recorded 2 episodes that my phone ate and I was unable to bring to you, which, needless to say, was extremely frustrating and maddening and disappointing because a lot of work goes into those episodes. It's hard to find the time to carve out this time with you guys for me sometimes. And I've missed you. It's been 2 weeks now, and I always have so much to update you on. And bringing you guys these episodes brings me so much joy, and it's really felt like it's missing for me. So, with that being said, let's not linger on the unpleasant. I'll chat more about some of that maybe at the end of the episode. But for those of you who are really here for some knitting content, let's do it. I had taped those 2 episodes about kind of what I've been knitting and what's been going on in my making life. And to be honest, I am not up for going at it a third time. So I just decided, let's just put that aside. We will revisit and chat about what's on my needles. But today I wanted to do something different. I wanted to chat with you guys about some patterns that have been on my radar and what yarns I'm thinking of using for those patterns. And all of those yarns are in my possession. So they're all either sweater quantities that I have or just stash yarn that I have. But I thought it would be really fun to talk to you about, what I'm thinking, what combinations are kind of rolling around in my mind, and see what you guys think. So if you're up for that, that is what we're gonna do today. Before I forget, I should tell you guys that this is the plumpy shawl I was wearing yesterday when I attempted to bring you guys a video. And when I posted a little update on Instagram so that you didn't think I had just disappeared off the face of the earth, I had this shawl on and a couple of you had mentioned it. So I thought I would wear it again so I could show you properly what it is. This is the Plumpy Shawl by the lovely Andrea Mowry of Drea Renee Knits. I made this a couple of years ago in the very pretty much exact color palette that she had used in one of her samples, because that's what drew me to this shawl. Let's be honest, this color palette is stunning and would be hard to top. And so I'm always happy to just have that inspiration given to me. So I used exactly what she uses in her sample, which is a lot of Hedghog Fibers, DK weight yarn. I'm gonna just show you so that you can get a good idea. First, let's talk about, before we talk about the fiber, let's talk about the shape, because it's very unique. It is this extremely long, like, y'all, I couldn't even get this in this frame if I wanted to. So I'm going to take it all the way across. I do not remember very much about the construction, I'm going to be honest. But it is these long brioche sections interchanged with some garter. So here is a brioche section. I'll tell you the colors while we're at them. This is Hedghog Fibers in the colorway Piggy Bank, that really funky, multi-colored yarn. And the buttercup color is Chink Fiber in their DK weight. I don't remember what it's called. I don't remember what the yarn is called, but this is the colorway Champagne. She did not use that in her sample. I just had a skein of this hanging around, so I wanted to use it because I thought it went really well. This is alternating that Champagne with the colorway Parklife by Hedghog Fibers, which is one of my absolutely favorite colorways. It is extremely, it's this lovely, you know what, I'm looking at it because it's right here. Let me grab it. I don't know why it's here, but it is. This is Parklife. It has my hair in it. It's this beautiful green with speckles of neon, just a talented, the talented Beta Jezik from Hedghog Fibers. She's just masterful use of color. I can't get enough of this color. So that's Parklife. Just toss that over there. Continuing across where this is another brioche section with, oh my God, this is such an unwieldy swath of fabric. This, I believe the neon is UFO by Hedghog Fibers. And then this is Sorbet. This, I love the colorway Sorbet. It's like a peachy speckled color. This is Sorbet again. You can get a better sense of it in garter. Can you see it? Then we're back to Piggy Bank and UFO and some plain Piggy Bank, which is one of those colorways that, to me, when I saw it on the screen and in skein form, is just not that appealing to me, even though it's a lot of bright neons and colors that I absolutely adore. It just felt like too much. And that's why you should sometimes still just try, because Andrea Mowry used this in her sample, and I just loved it. And it's one of my favorite colorways now. Like, I would love to knit other things in it. And then we're back to UFO and Parklife on this side. So I like that color combo, right? It's so cool. It is such an interesting shape. It's almost like really narrow at the ends, and then it gets wider for this maybe a really elongated diamond shape, which is really cool. And then it has this center ridge that goes through. I have to say, this is one of my least used shawls because of the shape. It's not a shape that is very wearable for me because I'm not super tall, and I like to wear my shawls the way I had it just now, which is just literally, sorry, see, it's like gonna knock something down because it's so long. So anyway, I just like to wear it like this, but if I stood up, the ends would literally reach my ankles. So now my hair is all in my face. It's a very awkward shaped shawl for me. In the pictures that she has of this shawl, she has it, stylishly zhuzhed around her neck, which it just doesn't work for me. It's not practical. It's just constantly slipping and moving, and I just don't like it. I don't like turtlenecks or big cowl necks. I don't like things up around my neck. So sadly, it's like just as much as I love these colors, and the colors just absolutely make my soul sing, the shaping is just the opposite. It just doesn't work for me. So it's one of those shawls that I don't get a lot of use out of, and I'm sad about it. I'm trying, like I did wear this morning when I took my daughter to swim team because it's cold in the mornings when I'm sitting outside, and it was lovely to be wrapped up in this because it is so squishy. I mean, plumpy is just a perfect name for it because the brioche makes that nice double layered fabric that's so glorious. And if you've never worked with the Hedghog Fibers DK weight, oh my God, it is just the softest, most lovely yarn. It's superwash. If you're not a fan, that definitely has that superwash vibe, but I love it. I'm dying to try their alpaca base because, I mean, who doesn't love alpaca yarn? And I would love to kind of compare it to their merino DK. So maybe this winter, maybe I will do that. But anyway, plumpy, if you are someone who wears your shawls zhuzhed, then maybe this is the one for you. I really enjoyed making it. And like I said, every time I lay eyes on it, it just makes me happy. So that's that. Moving on. Let's talk about the patterns that are on my radar, and let me show you the lovely yarns that I have matched with them. So the first pattern is called the Slippy V sweater by my beloved, glorious, talented, adorable, hilarious, and charming Stephen West. I love this sweater so much. When it came out, it wasn't something as usual that like a lot of times when something comes out of his that's not like super crazy shawl, it's like more of a simple pattern. I'm like, huh, okay. And it doesn't like land. I think I was intrigued when I saw the Bubble Girl Knits version. First of all, I think she is so incredibly talented. She is so prolific. I think she does a lot of test knitting. And then mad respect for you really prolific knitters that post on Ravelry. And she is one of them. And I so appreciate that. And yet I never do it. What are you going to do? I'm trying to do a lot of things, and that's one of the things that I would like to be better at. But I really respect the people that are already good at that, and Bubble Girl Knits is one of them. And her photography style is so lovely and crisp. She always puts her sweaters or shawls on a mannequin, and I just think it looks so lovely, and it just highlights her piece so much without any distractions. Anyway, I digress. But her Slippy V sweater was very inspiring to me. And I thought of doing mine in Purl Soho Linen Quill in the colorway Reed Gray, which is really simple. It's not like anything crazy. But as y'all know, I adore this yarn, and I had it in my stash. And then I have this stunning Moondrake Fuwa Fuwa in the colorway Electric Orchid. It was one of the colorways I got for my birthday. I remember I shared it with you. It is a light fingering weight, fluffy yarn. I can't remember the composition. I'm so sorry. I know it has cashmere in it, but it is just, I mean, look at this. I've used this yarn. I used it in my big cozy cardi by Andrea Mowry, and I used it as the shawl collar, and I love this yarn. It is fantastic. And I think these two colors together would just absolutely shine. I also really like the way this has so much floof, and I think those V stitches would really, like there would be a textural contrast in addition to the stitch pattern that I think would be absolutely gorgeous. I really want to do it in an oversized silhouette. And I think the Slippy V section creates like really big kind of eyelety openings, so your skin can, it peeks through, and it's going to be a very lightweight sweater because this is a light fingering weight yarn. So I think it would be an extraordinarily wearable sweater for me 3 to 3.5 seasons a year. And I just think it would be absolutely beautiful. I'm really drawn to this sweater. I think it would be great to knit during this season. It's June right now, because even though it's a long sleeve sweater, these yarns are really light. So I don't know. That is really on my radar in these two. The other option is the reason I bought this I have 3 skeins of this. The reason I bought it was to knit the Pressed Flowers cardigan by Amy Cristoffers. She has made this gorgeous series. There's a shawl, a cowl, and now even a sweater in a worsted weight yarn. And I just think they're all so beautiful. So beautiful. A lot of them, the samples I think are made with spin cycle yarn. I'm not huge into spin cycle yarn. I've talked about it before. I don't love the feel of that yarn for the price of it. I'm obsessed with the colorways, as everybody is, but it's just not my favorite yarn. But I think I have a little bit of some allergies. So my throat is really dry and scratchy, so my voice is a little extra croaky today. Apologies for my croaky voice. But back to the Pressed Flowers cardigan. I was going to do this in the background. This is what I purchased this for. And then I was thinking about doing the Pressed Flowers holding this double. This, again, is linen quill. I don't remember. I want to say it's dark plum. I think that's the colorway. Isn't it gorgeous? I think it really captures what everybody loves about linen quill. And I think this colorway really shines because it is dark, and so those linen-y bits really pop, and it gives it this heathered, textural, rustic look that is just stunning. And I must add that I've had, because I talk about linen quill a lot because I do knit with it a lot. I think it's a gloriously spun yarn. I love the range of colors. You know, I've rambled on and on about my love for linen quill, but a lot of you have asked me if it's soft. And I really think it is. I like this right now, I'm holding it and it's just incredibly soft and close to skin comfortable. I actually made an entire blanket for my son with linen quill held double with the line weight yarn from Purl Soho. I'll show it to you sometime. I've been wanting to show it to you, but it's in desperate need of a blocking. So I'll block it and then I'll show it to you. But it's a gorgeous blanket held with the line weight, held double with linen quill. And it is so lovely. So I really highly recommend this. I know it looks like it would be itchy because of the little linen fuzzies, but I don't find it itchy. The only thing I will say is I've never knit anything that's really tight in this. So like if you were gonna knit a sweater that's like a really fitted arms or a fitted body, I'm thinking of my Ginny cardigan by Andrea Mowry. It's a very fitted garment, and I used a yarn that feels extremely itchy. And I'm not sure I would have thought the same thing if that sweater had a lot of ease. I think it would have been a lot more comfortable. But when a garment is really tight, I think it can create an itchiness that's really annoying. And then this, I have no idea what yarn this is. Literally no idea. It's been in my stash, but it's so interesting. It's a single ply and it's very, very thin. It's more of a lace weight. It's not even fingering weight, but I just think it's so neat. And I think the effect of these two together in the pressed flowers cardigan specifically would be beautiful because those flowers, they're done in the mosaic, in mosaic knitting, and they just, I think they would look more like flowers because this yarn has like variation in color and is a very organic color that you see a lot in nature. So it would give it that lovely, it would communicate flower. And so this is my other option for this yarn is the pressed flowers cardi with these two. So yeah, I don't know. I honestly think I'm in a dead heat about these two projects with these yarns. So I don't know. I'd love to know what you thought about them. Which one you find more appealing. I have to say I've made a lot of cardigans, so I feel like I'm honestly more drawn to a pullover in terms of what I might enjoy more in my closet. I'm also not super drawn to doing the button band on the pressed flowers cardigan, and I could always leave it off and just have an open cardigan because that seems perfectly practical. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you think. Next up is a yarn that I've had in my stash for a while and is familiar to you if you've been watching my podcast for the last few months. This is the it's nurtured yarn. Well, okay, it's the Julie Asselin yarn in the nurtured base in the colorway Dew, and isn't it just stunning? I mean, I love this yarn so much. It's this gorgeous like peppermint. It reminds me of Bluebell peppermint ice cream that they release around Christmas time. It has that peppermint variation. It's just a really, really beautiful yarn. I love it because it's woolen spun and it is non-superwash. So it is definitely going to be a lovely warm yarn. I had knit the Weekender sweater that was just not working out, and I ripped it out, so I have an entire sweater's quantity worth of this. And I don't regret that. I don't feel like I want the weekender sweater anymore. So I'm glad I ripped it out and salvaged this gorgeous yarn. The two sweaters that are competing for this yarn right now. Number one is the Nurtured Sweater by Andrea Mowry, which she uses this exact yarn for. I love this sweater. I think it's so elegant and I love the texture and I loved the cropped silhouette that she has going on. I like the fact that the neckline is a little bit wider. I do not like a really tight neckline, not only because I don't like fabric around my neck, but also because I have very broad shoulders and a very flat chest, like not very much in the way of a bust. So I just feel like a linebacker when I wear like a really high, close to the neck sweater. So I like when there's more skin showing. So I just feel like I look less broad. And I think this would be really pretty in that. I have to say this is a weird thing that's keeping me from that sweater, but you knit the sleeves first. And maybe I would actually end up liking that because often, you know, we finish the body and then we end up getting up on the sleeves and then it kind of drags a bit. Maybe getting those sleeves out of the way first is better. But I've never done that before. I've never done a sweater with sleeves first. And it's sort of, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say weird. And I don't know why that is like even in my mind, but that's in my mind. I also know that I love the way it looks in the cropped silhouette. But I also know a cropped silhouette for me is just not a piece I'm going to be able to wear as much because I'll have to like kind of more plan the outfit rather than just throw it on in a very easy way. I really like oversized, big, flowy sweaters. So a cropped silhouette is just not as wearable for me. So that's also there. The other sweater that is really drawing me for this is the Dustland sweater by my beloved Stephen West. I'm obsessed with this sweater. It was another sweater that I wasn't super like, it wasn't on my radar until I saw Linda's version. Linda made one for her wife and one for herself. And I remember in one of her podcasts, she said, it's like her wife's favorite sweater. And she recently, I think a month ago, posted a picture of a bunch of them wearing that sweater. And it's just so freaking gorgeous. I love this sweater. And I'll tell you what made me just fall in love with this sweater is the different textured bands. I think lately I've been knitting a lot of tops that are stockinette and I just get kind of bored. And I love the idea of like these bands of different textures, and each one I think is different. And I just think it would make the project go by really fast and just keep it really interesting and challenge you and kind of let you explore different stitch patterns. And I'm really drawn to that. The other thing is, you know, I don't love a super close to the neck color, as I literally just said. But in the Ravelry projects, I saw somebody do either a rolled collar or an I-cord collar, but not like the ribbing collar. And I loved that. And I think I would do that. I really, really liked the look of kind of a more open collar. And I think that would kind of be the best of both worlds. I also would definitely make it more oversized. So as I'm talking, I'm thinking in this case, I'm really more drawn to the Dustland sweater. So, and I think in this colorway, I really don't think you can like appreciate this colorway as much if it's not in person. I just think maybe the variations might be a little lost on the camera, but I think lighter colors really highlight stitch patterns and texture and definition. So I think this would be just beautiful in that. So I don't know. What do you think about that? I really think the Dustland sweater in this case wins. You just cannot go wrong with Stephen West. And I possibly have never knit just like a regular top-down sweater by Stephen West. That sounds horrible. What kind of super fan am I? Is that right? Okay. We're going to have to remedy this very soon. Okay. so that's the Nurtured. I just love it. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. Really lovely yarn. I think I got mine from Firefly Fibers, if I'm not mistaken. If you're interested in that yarn, check it out. There's some beautiful colorways. And that yarn comes in Nurtured Fine, I believe it's called, which might be a fingering weight yarn if you're interested in checking that out. Okay, next project is the Easy V sweater by Caitlin Hunter. Boyland Knit Works, I believe that's who she is. Look at this basket, y'all. Isn't this so cute? A friend gave me this basket a couple years ago, and I just love it. I think it's such a cute, fun basket for yarn. I absolutely love this sweater, and I feel like I'm not the only one because I've been seeing it everywhere. Lots of podcasters on YouTube have made it. I think it's just a really appealing pattern because it's simpler than Caitlin Hunter's typical color work. You know, a lot of her color work is pretty intricate and involved. And I also think this is a DK or worsted weight, and I think so it'll knit up quicker. I also think one thing that makes it really appealing to me is the V-neck. And it's not a V-neck like this. It's a much wider, shallower V-neck, and I just love it. I think it's such a gorgeous shape. So my jam. Like wide neck, oversized. It's gorgeous. Okay, so this is definitely on my list for this year. I'm going to share this yarn with you guys. This yarn is so special to me. I got this yarn at the Woolen Folk Fiber Festival that was in October of last year, right before Rhinebeck in Kingston, New York. I went up there with my daughter and a group of women from Boulder, a group of women that I had really only met once. It was one of those push myself out of my comfort zone, things I did for myself that I was just so grateful for because it is one of my happiest memories and truly one of the most joyful memories I've ever had with my daughter. She was only 8 at the time. She's so mature and lovely to travel with and easy. And it was just the best trip. We had the best time ever. It was my first yarn festival ever. I had the best time. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time. But I got this yarn there at Woolen Folk from Mindful Folk Farms, who I think is in Pennsylvania. I don't know. I can't remember. It is this super just special fiber from her farm. She's just such an incredibly lovely, inspiring woman. She has a farm. They raise animals. She homeschools her kids. She's just incredible. I mean, talk about makes me feel lazy. And anyway, this yarn, in retrospect, I was so caught up in the moment and loved meeting her. And she actually, the designer Alicia Plummer was at her booth also, and we chatted forever. Alicia is so lovely. And I was so lost in the moment that these skeins did not come with any labels. So I don't remember the blend at all. And it's driving me crazy that I don't remember it. But I know it was this super interesting blend of Angora, rabbits, I think, and anyway, it's so special and beautiful. I have 4 skeins of this, and I love this pattern so much. I think this yarn would just be absolutely perfect. And I'm thinking of making it it's with Spin Cycle is what she used, I think. But I was thinking of using this. These are some of the leftover yarns I had. I'm trying to hold it so you can see. This was one of the leftovers I had from the Soldotna crop that I made, the Caitlin Hunter sweater. This is Malabrigo Rios in the colorway whole grain. This was, I believe it was a Dream in Color was the brand, and I don't remember the colorway. I'm so sorry, but it's so beautiful and moody. I just absolutely love these two together. And I think what will really make it look different is this. This is actually fingering weight Parklife. Remember I just showed you at the top Parklife? This is some Parklife that I ripped out of something. So it's already wound up double, which I think would be perfect here. And I think that's such a lovely combination and would make a gorgeous easy V. So this is definitely on my list right now, like high on the list. I also think it would be not instant gratification, but you guys know, that worsted weight stuff knits up way faster. Like that Slippy V is gonna take a hot second in Purl Soho Linen Quill in this oversized sweater. I don't know, that's gonna take some, dedication. But this guy would be a quick knit, and I've just, like I said, I love it. So that is definitely on my list. I cannot wait to cast that on. That's been kind of percolating in my mind for a while. What else? Number 4 is the Penguino. The adult version is called Penguono, but I made a Penguino for my daughter in the size like 8'10", I believe, like medium 8'10" for children, because I wanted it to fit her for a long time. I'm not gonna lie. Knitting is a major investment of time, and I didn't want to make this like absolutely perfectly fitting sweater for her that she was gonna be able to wear for one season, and then we'd have to put it away. Like, that's not gonna fly. So I made it the 8'10" Penguino, and it turns out to fit me absolutely perfectly. I love the fit. It's still boxy, but it's like the perfect boxy. It's not incredibly oversized. I wear it so much because it fits me so well, and it's big on her, obviously. If it fits me well, it's big on her, but I love it, and I wear it a lot. One of the things that makes it so wearable is the shape. First of all, this is where my super broad linebacker shoulders come in really handy. It has a very square shape, and for some reason, it's incredibly flattering on me. I love it. I love the sleeve length. I think it's just absolutely perfect. You can wear it in the warmer months because it literally comes up to your elbow. I wish I had brought it over here to show you, but I wore it in a video, like one of my really early videos from the start of this podcast. So if you want to go check it out, it might have been episode 3. Anyway, I love it, but I made hers really bright. I think I used UFO. I used just like funky, fun, bright colors because, I wanted her to have a really fun sweater. But I have been craving one in like dark, moody colors, and I have so much worsted weight yarn in grays and moody colors. Y'all, I mean, seriously, look at this. We all have these buckets, right? We all have these buckets just filled with yarn. And the Penguino is just such a great way to use up that stash and just have a blast doing it. If you haven't knit the Penguino or the Penguono, I highly suggest it. It's such a fun knit, even though it is a modular knit, which, means you're picking up stitches often. I still think it's really fun. The directions, they're long, but as in typical Stephen West fashion, there are immaculate instructions that just make it so doable. I'm just going to show you some of the moody grays and blacks that I have. Like, these are both blacks and grays. These are all from Malabrigo Rios, which is such a lovely fiber, really well priced and really soft. This is some leftover Hedghog Fibers Tweedy that I was telling you is very itchy, like super close to skin, but I think it'd be fine. And I have so much of that. I've told you, I think Andrea Mowry really overestimates her yardages, and so I always end up with way too much. So I have both of these. I have this other one-off skein from Ching Fiber Classic DK in the colorway Balloon, which is speckled and similar looking to this, but very soft. Really, really soft. I also have all this gorgeous Ching Fiber Melted Baby Surrey Alpaca that would be just awesome in a Penguino. Truly, truly would shine in texture and color. Like, look at this blue. Oh my God, I love that blue. This is one of my absolute favorite colorways. It was a limited edition that I loved, and that's why I bought this in attempts to get it really close, but I think they are just different enough to really just, they're different. They have a different vibe. This one just is so, this is one of my favorite colorways. And this is that purple that I used in my big rib sweater that we're not going to talk about. So anyway, I think that would be really fun. I also have a lot of this yarn. This is another colorway in Malabrigo Rios. I don't remember what it's called, but it's so bright and glorious. It might be too bright for my vision for this project, but yeah, so that's another really fun project that I've got in my mind. Not perhaps, well, maybe it would be a good project for travel, because the first thing you do in the Penguino is you make a giant rectangle for the back in seed stitch. And you can use as many colors as you want, or you could make it solid. I even saw a sample of someone made it in bubble stitch. The entire back panel was in bubble stitch in the way of the Bubble cardigan by Stephen West. It is like such a great blank slate project. Honestly, it would even be spectacular in one color. Like, if you have one color that you're obsessed with, it would just be such an interesting piece. And one of my favorite, unexpectedly favorite parts of the Penguino is the welts on the back. They just look so cool in person, and they're such an easy technique that has such a cool impact, and they go along the backs, like alongside either side of that long rectangle. There's 3 welts on either side, and they're just so cool. The genius that is Stephen West. I don't know. You know, I'm not going to go into a whole thing, but he's just everything. And I think I remember one time he said that was his favorite project that he's ever designed, if I'm not incorrect, which I can just imagine, because it's such a lovely, unique piece that I've never seen any other designer have anything close to that. So, and like, you can bring your own aesthetic to it. Okay, what's next? Okay, the next thing is this yarn that I showed you recently. I bought this on sale at Maverick Fiber Arts, which is one of my local yarn shops that I absolutely adore. It is Noro Fibers. Noro yarn, I'm sorry. I don't remember anything about this, and I couldn't find the tag. It is like DK weight-ish. I love the way Noro yarn is spun, like it's thick, thin. It just, you know, I think the actual name of the company is Noro Yarn, The World of Nature. And I just think it's such an apt name. Their yarns just have this very organic vibe. And I just love this colorway. You know, right now we've had an incredibly rainy spring, and everything is greener than you can imagine. I mean, everything has just burst into color in Boulder. And I have to be careful when I drive, and I'm not even kidding, that I don't just like keep looking around at all the beauty right now, because I'm scared I'm gonna get into a car crash. But this colorway just really reminds me of like what is happening outside right now. And so I'm really in love with this colorway. I bought it with the intention of making the outline raglan by Jessie May of Jessie May Designs. And you guys know how much I love her. I think she's so wonderful. Another amazing pattern writer who's just explains everything so precisely. You just can't go wrong. And her finished objects are just always gorgeous. Like everything I've made of hers, I've made a decent amount of stuff of hers. It's just always stunning. The outline raglan is so gorgeous. It's right up my alley. It has this really interesting would it be eyelet? It's like this drop stitch detail. I've made the outline tank, but the outline raglan has kind of a interesting shape for that detailing, and it's oversized, and you can make it long sleeve or 3/4 length sleeve, and I think they're both just absolutely stunning. I recently made the very V-neck raglan by Jessie Made, and you guys know how much I love that sweater, and I wear it all the time. And I also made it in Noro, and it's this cotton silk viscose blend, which I believe is a similar or the same blend as this. And it's just so perfect for this season. It's not warm, but I love wearing long sleeves even in the summer because I don't like it protects my skin, like I don't have to wear sunscreen, and I get really cold easily. Like when I'm inside and the air conditioning is blasting, I'm always cold. So I love wearing long sleeves. So I know I would get a ton of wear out of this. However, I am currently knitting the Open Edge Tee by Jessie Made, and I just finished the very V-neck raglan, and I just think I need a break because her patterns tend to be very simple in terms of like they're usually stockinette with one really gorgeous, impactful detail, which is Scout! Scout! Shh! Hush, woman! Hey! Scout! I am so sorry. It's summertime, y'all. Just anything could happen. She just won't stop now. Hey, nobody's talking to you. No, she wants to come say hi. Anyway, we're talking about the outline raglan. So I don't want to make this right away because I think I need a break from that type of knitting where you have this one really cool, interesting detail, but then you're just knitting stockinette for 10 inches. And that can be great if you're in the mood for it. But since I've done that in the last 2 sweaters or pieces I'm making, I'm not super keen on doing that again right now. So the other thing that I'm sort of thinking about, but I don't for some reason love this color for this top, is the Piazza Tee by Sari Nordland. I have never knit anything by Sari Nordland, but I think she is incredibly talented and prolific, and her pieces are stunning. And ever since I started doing cables, which I had never done cables before, I think last fall I did the hatchback hat by Stephen West, and it has a really simple cable, and I really enjoyed that. And there's cables in his last year's MCAL, and I really enjoyed those. So I am just really drawn to cables, and she does absolutely stunning cables. And I'm pretty sure, 99% sure this is called the Piazza Tee. If it's not, I'll put down what it's called. But I love this top. I think it's so beautiful because it is a lot of intricate cabling, but not too much. And the fact that it's short sleeves means that you're not getting lost on your sleeves and getting bored. And I think it's a wearable piece for summer and winter. Like in the winter, you can layer it under your jacket. So anyway, I love it. I'm really, feeling in the mood for cables. So the only thing is I don't, for some reason, love this color for that piece. I feel like it would be prettier in almost, a neutral, this guy. Like this would be really pretty with that, like this color. Or a camel would be beautiful. So I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. Sorry, she's shedding all over me. So now there's fur all over me. So yeah, that is kind of what's on my mind. Like, I really don't think I'm going to use this for the Piazza Tee, but I had to talk about it because I love it. So that is all. Those are the 6 patterns, if it was 5 or 6, whatever it was, that have been in my mind. And all this was coming to my mind because we are headed out of town next weekend. And travel knitting is something knitters take very seriously, especially me. I am super serious about travel knitting. And we are going to, actually, we're going to Las Vegas, which I'm really excited about. It sounds random from someone who, you know, doesn't gamble and loves the mountains and nature. I am not a Vegas person in any way, shape, or form. However, we decided to make this trip because Jerry Seinfeld is doing stand-up in Vegas that weekend. And we, as a family, adore Jerry Seinfeld. I mean, who doesn't? It's one of our favorite TV shows. Our kids are total converts. They love him. And we just couldn't miss the chance to go see him. So we're going, all four of us are going to Vegas, and we're staying at a super family-friendly hotel. So there's going to be a lot of, you know, pool hanging and cabana hanging during the day, and going to some really fun shows with the kids in the evenings. But that hang by the pool time will be solid knitting time for me. So I'm really want to nail it in terms of what I'm working on. Because, you know, we have to maximize these moments, right? Like the vacation moments where you're not, you know, sightseeing or hiking or skiing, those chiller vacations, like we don't take those a lot as a family. So I'm really excited and I just want the perfect project. So let me know what you think. I would absolutely love to know what project you think would translate the best. Like, I don't know if the Penguino would, because I guess I could just work on that back panel and to take the colors I want, but it's like, obviously I can't take this giant bucket of yarn on this trip. So it might have to be, you know, one of the projects that doesn't require me to take a whole bunch of different yarns. So I don't know. I would love to know your opinion. What are your knitting plans? It's summer, you guys. It's June. It's been, I think I just said, I'm sorry. Sometimes I feel like I'm having deja vu because I've taped so many episodes that y'all haven't seen. So I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I don't know what I've said and you've heard, or what I've said and you haven't heard. So what I was going to say is that it's been raining so much, which I love. And that's why my dog is barking. She does not like thunder and lightning, or she does like it. I don't know. She just thinks it's her job to scare it away, I guess. But the rain has kept it a lot cooler, and it just doesn't feel like summer is here, even though it's the very beginning of June now. And I'm just in love with this weather. It's it's like the best of all worlds, because it's cold in the morning. So we've been walking the dog super early, and like I've been having to wear gloves because my hands are freezing. And then when I take my daughter to swim team in the morning and I get to sit outside, I've been taking a shawl and knitting. It's just glorious. But the days are so long. Like the sun rises early and sets late, and it's so lovely to have more sunlight. God bless you, you know, Northern Europeans and Canadians that have so little light in the winter. I don't know how you do it. It really affects me. Like, we're in Colorado, so yes, like in the dead of winter, like January, the sun starts going down around 4:30, 4:45, and that's tough. I don't know, but I know there's so many of you out there that have darkness for even longer than we do. So I hope wherever you are, you're getting some gorgeous sunlight and enjoying some patio knitting with a cocktail. And I am just so excited to have some patio knitting with a cocktail myself on this trip. Please let me know what's on your needles, what's bringing you extra joy. Maybe you saw some yarn and you have a project suggestion that you think I need to put on my radar. Please share in the comments. I would love to hear it. I am going to now wrap it up, and I'm starting to get really anxious with if this episode is even going to turn out, because the last two episodes that never made it, everything looks like it's fine, and then it's only after I finish the entire hour of recording and talking that I realize I can't post it. There's nothing to post. So let us all say a collective prayer for this video. If you are seeing this, Holla freaking Luya. I am so grateful that this worked. Technology is truly, the greatest double-edged sword. It allows us to connect, which I am infinitely grateful for. The connection we've had here has just brought me so much joy. I love all of you so much, but dealing with these things is absolute nightmare. Like, I've been pulling my hair out. And thank goodness, for the Apple Store, and they're very helpful. But, the other thing I will leave you with before I go is just, I realized yesterday when I was so frustrated with my phone and the fact that it wasn't working, I just realized, I need to stop resisting technology and stop categorizing it as something I hate. Because here's the deal. I'm a knitter. I'm a maker. I love making things with my own hands. There's a sense of control, and there's just a beauty in that slowness that is the antithesis of technology. And that's why I think I always say I hate technology, because it's this very sterile, robotic feeling tool that lacks humanity. Let's just say it. I mean, I guess we bring the humanity to it. So I've always resisted it. I've tried to do everything as minimally as I can, and then just get away, And I think I need to quit. I need to lean into it, let it be just another place to learn. Lately, I started sewing, and I've just found so much joy in being a novice and being a beginner in learning. I feel like there's this sparkly energy you get in that moment that a lot of us resist because it's also challenging and gets us out of our comfort zone. And a comfort zone is aptly named. It's very comfortable, but the thing we get when we get out of our comfort zone is the joy of something fresh and new. And I think if I lean into technology, maybe it'll surprise me and I will find some joy there, because I know in my heart that I cannot grow this channel and reach more of you and build more community in this way without using the technology. So I do either have to accept it, and accept it with joy and gratitude for it as a tool, and stop resisting it and maligning it, because that's just rude. I'm being super rude to technology. So that's kind of the silver lining that I found in my travails of the last week, which I always try to do. I let myself be frustrated and feel grumpy, but then I also like to try to find what the moment is teaching me, because there's always challenges. I mean, of course there are always challenges. It's not always going to be smooth sailing, but the challenges are there to be our teachers. And I always tell my kids, when everything is going great, nobody's learning anything, because we're just cruising. It's when we're in that challenged space that we're also in that growth space. So I will stop talking about that now. I will press stop and go see if this actually worked. And if it did, then I'll be thrilled. And I'll also be thrilled to finally get some knitting in. I've been spending too much time trying to get my phone to work. But I'm really excited to sit down and do some knitting, hopefully this afternoon. The clouds are rolling in, and it's perfect knitting weather. I hope you have a gorgeous, glorious weekend, and I will see you again very soon. Okay? Bye, guys.